welcome to another holiday edition of Spotlight on Newcastle County, which features all things Newcastle County, Delaware. I'm your host, Melody Kitchen. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Councilman Bob Weiner, representing the Brandywine 100, Greenville, and Centerville area of Newcastle County Council, and Rabbi Vogel of the Chabad of Delaware. Thank you for being here today, gentlemen.
Thank you for the opportunity.
To begin, I'd like to talk a little bit about Hanukkah and its significance during the holidays. To begin with, can you tell us a little bit about the basics of Hanukkah, for example, how long it lasts, when it begins?
Well, let me just start off by saying Hanukkah is just around the corner. It starts at sundown on the 16th of December. It's for 8 nights. It goes through the 24th of December. And because the Jewish people are on a lunar calendar, we have an extra month that gets added. So the calendar shifts around, and so the beginning and ending of the holiday is different all the time. Rabbi Vogel, what would you like to add?
Hanukkah is a holiday which goes back more than 2,000 years. The history of Hanukkah is during the times of the Second Temple, when the Greek Seleucid regime had control over Judea, where the Jewish people lived, over Jerusalem, and a war had ensued between the Maccabees and the Greek Seleucid, the Greek army. The Maccabees were clearly outnumbered. They were just, even in the height of the wars, they numbered maybe a few thousand against what was at the time. The Greek army was the superpower of the time. The war was to reclaim the temple. The war was also to remove the yoke and the prohibitions, the religious persecution that was taking place at the time. And in a sense, Hanukkah was the first struggle for religious freedom. And therefore, the holiday has tremendous significance. Obviously for the Jewish people, but even beyond, because this is an unbroken chain of celebration of a fight for religious freedom, the very basis of the founding of the United States of America.
Can you tell us about the 2 miracles that occurred?
The first miracle was, in continuing what I began earlier, the first miracle was that the Maccabees were able to be successful in this war. Severely outnumbered, outgunned, if I can use that term, they were able to remove the superpower from Jerusalem. That itself was a miracle. The miracle that you see over here, represented in the 8 candles and hence the 8 days of celebration of Hanukkah, is because of the little flask of oil which was necessary to kindle the menorah, the candelabra in the temple. They found one untainted flask of oil, a pure amount of oil which was needed, and it would only last for 1 day. Nevertheless, they lit it, and somehow or another it lasted for 8 days until they were able to bring new oil. And then the miracle of oil lasting for 8 days is why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. So here you have 2 miracles: the miracle of the military accomplishment, which was just absolutely unbelievable, and second, finding the flask of oil, and that the oil lasted for 8 days.
Now, I know that this is called a menorah. Is there another name for it?
The Torah, the Bible, calls it a menorah.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it will also be referred to as a Chanukiah. Chanukiah means a menorah that we use in celebration of the holiday of Hanukkah. So it's a more modern name. The menorah in the temple actually had 7 branches. whereas the menorah that we use for Hanukkah has 8 branches, and therefore we call it a Chanukiah because it's only used in celebration of Hanukkah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Hanukkah festivities that take place in the household?
Well, all of us at one point were kids, and we looked forward to Hanukkah because we had a chance to celebrate with the magic of the light, the reflection of the lights upon us, and saying the prayers and singing the Hanukkah songs and spinning the dreidel, which we'll demonstrate later. And then we have special Hanukkah foods that we enjoy, the latkes and other special foods. And then, of course, we exchange gifts, which has become a sort of a modern addition to Hanukkah.
Now, I'm sure the kids want to know, is it true that you get presents 8 nights for Hanukkah?
It's not a prerequisite. It's not a religious dictate. It has become in vogue in many Jewish homes in the beginning of the last century.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some similarities between Hanukkah and Christmas that people might?
Well, of course, we have the factor that we're using lights. And just like in the holiday of Christmas, lights are a big important part. So it is with Hanukkah, which of course predates Christmas by a considerable period of time. And then the period of the year is the same. On the agrarian cycle, this was the shortest days of the year, and of course the holidays fall at that time as well.
Sure. Now, what can you tell us about your personal take on the miracles of Hanukkah?
Miracles are a central theme in the Bible, and in the story of Hanukkah we have 2 miracles. One of them was the battle that the Maccabees waged against the Greeks. The Greek army at that time was the superpower, and the Maccabees, even at the height of their wars against the Greeks, just numbered a few thousand, and here they were totally outnumbered, totally outgunned, if I can use that expression. And they were successful. The few were able to beat the many, even though it was truly against all odds. The second miracle of Hanukkah was the fact that they found a flask of oil, even though that their temple had been ransacked and every bit of oil had been defiled, the seal had been broken and could not be used for the lighting of the menorah. Nevertheless, when the Maccabees came back into the temple to rededicate it, notwithstanding the fact that they saw this tremendous devastation, they continued to look and look until they actually found one flask of oil. And this flask of oil they used to light the menorah, the candelabra in the temple, as part of the rededication. And miraculously, it lasted not just for 1 night, but it lasted for 8 nights. There is something that we see in both of these miracles, which I think is a very important lesson, and that is, although we talk about miracles, we see in both of them, the miracle didn't happen with folded arms. The miracle happened as a result of action together with faith. The Maccabees went to battle. They had faith that their cause was just. Even though that on paper, clearly, they were outnumbered, nevertheless, it didn't deter them. They went forward with that inner faith and hope and trust that is central to Jewish existence for thousands of years. That's why we are an eternal people. And as a result of demonstrating that trust, here a miracle happened and they were successful. And the same is true also with the oil. Here they look for oil, even though that where are they going to find oil in a place which is calculated to deny any oil use by breaking every single piece of seal that was on the oil. They take the oil, they light for 1 day, and nevertheless, it lasts for 8 days. This is a very important lesson that is timeless, that it has relevance to us in our lives. Faith is something that has to be acted upon. You have to do the best you can and you always have to trust God will help you.
Well, thank you very much, Rabbi Vogel. Is there anything you'd like to add, Councilman Weiner?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting together with my children, even though they're adults, and we rekindle our particular traditions that we have. Throughout the world, there's Jewish folks that have the foods of their own traditions. We are from Eastern European, Ukrainian, Belarusian tradition, so our peasant food were potatoes. And so we'll make latkes. They're basically potato pancakes, and we'll put applesauce on them, and we'll fry them, and that's a food that we associate with Hanukkah. And Rabbi, there may be some other foods and traditions that you have in your family.
I want to take your suggestion to everybody to partake in Hanukkah by having potato latkes. In Israel, they have a custom of having jelly donuts or anything really fried in oil, and that's really what the latkes are about. Because the story of Hanukkah is one which revolves around oil, therefore we eat foods that oil functions and plays such an important part. So, fried latkes, the fried donuts, and I'm sure there are some other customs. Those are the two that are very popular.
And it's healthy, rather than using the animal fat.
The miracle of Hanukkah is that you can eat 8 days of latkes and donuts and not gain any weight.
Yeah. Well, that sounds nice. Is there any, can you tell us about any upcoming events that the community could participate in?
Absolutely. Chabad provides programs that are open to the entire community. We'll be beginning with a pre-Hanukkah event this Sunday at the Chabad Center, 1811 Silverside Road. It's called Legos and Latkes, where children will be able to make their own Lego menorah, which they can actually use out of specially designed Lego pieces to make a menorah. And they will be using that. They will be also making their own latkes in preparation of Hanukkah. Then on Tuesday evening, we will be having our annual Hanukkah first night celebration. We have a catered dinner with entertainment for children, and that will be taking place again at the Chabad Center. Beginning at 4:45, there will be a public menorah lighting at 5:15, and then dinner and entertainment. The next night of Hanukkah, Wednesday evening, we will be having now it's become our annual car menorah parade, where we have dozens of cars that have menorahs, electric menorahs on top of the cars, and then we parade throughout North Wilmington, and we have music blaring. It's a wonderful sight. We get tremendous feedback. People are so excited by seeing this whole parade of light. That's really what it is. Yeah. Parade of menorahs. And that will begin with a kickoff event at 5 o'clock at the JCC, that's Garden of Eden Road, and from there the parade will begin. We will be driving on the main roads into some of the neighborhoods. That is Wednesday evening. Thursday evening we'll be having a teen event, a limo party. We're renting a limo bus, and our C-Teen group, which is again open to all Jewish teens in the community, and a Hanukkah event. Sunday evening, we will be having our annual menorah lighting at Christiana Mall. It will be taking place in the Target court. We have our annual dreidel spinning championships, where children get a dreidel, and then we see who can spin their dreidel longest, and we go from one level to the next, and we give out foods, and we sing the Hanukkah songs. It's a great event, and people look forward, from year to year.
Yes. May I talk a little bit about our dreidel?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Well, in biblical days, the dreidel would have been made out of clay, and it has the first letter of 4 words. A great miracle happened there. And so in Hebrew, you would say that?
Nes Gadol Haya Ho if it was in Israel.
Right. Otherwise, if you're in Israel, you'd say
Say
great
here.
miracle happened here.
Whereas out of Israel,
There was a time after the miracle of Hanukkah when the Roman soldiers said, you can't study Bible. So the kids would be playing with this clay toy, and the soldiers would come up and they say, well, we're not studying Bible. We're simply playing this game. And so it was a little bit of fun that the kids would have, but the way the game is played is everyone would ante up a shekel, and then everyone takes a turn at a spin, and then when it falls, there are 4 different letters for the 4 words, and if you get a hey, you get half the pile. If you get the gadol, big, you get the whole pile. Nun, you get none of it, and the shin, you have to double the pile. So it is a way to study Torah and for kids to play a great game as well. And we do that at Hanukkah in our house as well as others as well.
You don't play with a shekel. What do you play with?
Chocolate money, chocolate shekels now. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What other traditions are there?
you can use winkies, you can use whatever you want.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds really wonderful, and I can't thank you enough for being here today. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
Well, just to show us the menorah that we brought along. This is the menorah that I use in our house. We have many menorahs as well. Our kids make menorahs. And the menorah has a shamash, or a leader. And then the first night we'll light 1 candle. The second night, it burns down. Second night we'll light 2 candles. 3 the third night, so forth until the last night on the 24th of this month. All 8 candles are burning and glowing, and we find it magical, just like kids of every age and every period have enjoyed the candle lights. So the tradition is now, because I'm facing it this way, the candle will first go on the right side, and the next candle will go to the left, but we'll take the candles and light them from left to right. And as we do, we'll all sing a prayer together in Hebrew. I brought the transliteration along with you if you'd like to follow or sing along. And Chuni and I, who've sung many times before, will sing together, and you're welcome to join us. Baruch, Baruch atah Adonai,
Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh.
The first night we would say a second prayer, or a third prayer, and then we would sing many different songs. And so one of them might be Rock of Ages, which we know the term Rock of Ages. It's many of our traditions, but in Hebrew, Rock of Ages, it's Ma'ot Tzur. And we have a melody that some may know, but we're going to do the Hebrew version, just the first verse.
Ma'ot Tzur Yeshuati Lecha Leshabeach Tikoim Beis Tefilati V'sham Toda Nezabeach Le'yes Tachin Madbeach Nitzal Nadbeach Ozeg Mar Bashir Mizmar Chanukah Samizbeach Ozeg Mar Bashir Mizmar Chanukah Samizbeach.
Chag Sameach and happy Hanukkah, and happy holidays to you and to everyone.
Happy Hanukkah. We hope to see you at some of these great events that we have for the community. A wonderful Hanukkah.
Thank you so much for being here, both of you, today, and good luck with all of your upcoming events, and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up this holiday edition of Spotlight on Newcastle County. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please keep it tuned to NCC TV for news and information on Newcastle County. On behalf of County Executive Tom Gordon, happy holidays to all of you and your families. This is Melody Kitchen.
With me.